In development news, technocrats are now in the process of digesting public feedback on government's planning roadmap. That's called Plan Cayman. And tonight we sit down with the man in charge of executing that plan, Infrastructure and Planning Minister, the Honourable Joey Hew. Minister Hew, thank you for being here with us on Cayman 27 News. Can you give us an update on what's happening with the plan? Now that data has been collected, it's with the technocrats, what's next?
So what we just went through, the exercise we just went through was for the National Planning Framework, which sets out the guidelines, or if you will, the framework as it's referred to, for the upcoming National Development Plan review. We had 351 respondents with over 2,800 sessions on the website where the survey was posted. I think the interaction of 2,800 was good. We would have liked to have seen more responses to the survey, but we have 351 responses. So now we're taking those responses and reviewing those and seeing where they can fit into what the framework that was published by the department. And then that will now come to planning, and we will take that to Legislative Assembly for them to accept it. And then hopefully by July of this year, we will commence the actual plan review, starting with 7 Mile Beach area. So the way that we're doing it is we're doing the plan review in 5 stages, or 5 zones over Grand Cayman.
So phased over zones, as you said. Now, you mentioned the number there, 351 responses. You sound a little disappointed with that number. Why do you think it was not as high as you had hoped it would be?
Well, it could be disappointing, but also could indicate that we have done a very good job in the framework document itself. The framework document was made up of historical reviews done across different sections, whether it was on the tourism plan review, the infrastructure, the National Conservation Plan. So we took all of those plans to create the framework. So perhaps it is that we had a much more comprehensive framework, and people felt comfortable with it. But now we go into the next stage, which is an actual plan review, and this is where I believe that people will have an opportunity to really get in, because it'll be much more local for them, and it'll be much more about what's going to be built next to me rather than the overall vision of the country.
What's interesting is that I believe it was about 2 weeks ago the Premier called for a national debate on whether it's time for the country to look at lifting restrictions on heights, story heights, that is, for buildings. And we know that there's a proposal from the DART group for an iconic tall tower. Is this something that you believe will be encapsulated in the next steps of Plan Cayman?
I absolutely believe so, and it's just fortunate enough, I think the DART proposal talks about it being on the 7 Mile Beach corridor, and that will be the first zone that we will do, 7 Mile Beach corridor. So I think we will get a real sounding from the residents within the area as to whether or not this is something that they want to see in Grand Cayman or in their backyards, whether it's on 7 Mile Beach, or I've heard other people saying that if we're going to have something like that, it should be in downtown Georgetown. So these are the kind of answers that we'll see in the actual plan review stages as we move into that phase.
No doubt you will receive some robust responses on that one. Speaking about requirements, I understand there may be some changes within the planning department itself in terms of perhaps what some people term as red tape, or view rather as red tape, or bureaucracy for that matter. Can you give us an update on what's happening?
Absolutely. You know, we've done a tremendous job of focused over the last year on the Department of Commerce and Investment and the trade and business license processes and the liquor license process, and as well as we've been focusing recently in the Department of Vehicle and Driver's License and trying to reduce some of the bureaucracy there and to speed up the process. And now we are working along with the planning department, and we've already identified several areas that we'll actually be temporarily suspending, if not indefinitely, some of the code requirements for single-family homes, duplexes, and townhouses. And then we will also be deferring some submittals. The deferred submittals are instances where you're required to pay for reports up front before putting in your planning approvals. These are expenses that persons will have to incur as what you would call soft costs before even even getting financing. And they may not need those reports until 6, 7, 8, 9 months down the road when they're actually in construction. Some people may not even know what they want at that point. So we're going to try deferring those reports until the actual time that they're needed. One of the big ones was the roof truss, the roof truss drawings that we required you submit those while you're submitting your original planning approval. Now we're going to defer those until you get to the stage where you're going to need those roof trusses. So this is going to take cooperation between the department itself and the clients, and in particular the architects and the contractors. We're all going to have to work together on this, but we're going to make an announcement later this week, and these are going to be sweeping changes, and I think it'll be well accepted within the public.
When do you expect those changes to be made?
We're anticipating doing that by the end of the week.
By the end of the week?
Announcing that by the end of the week.
So you're going to make the announcement,
yes.
And they will come into force, so to speak, at that time?
Yeah, as soon as we can after the announcement, absolutely.
All right. Minister Hugh, thanks for being here with us on Cayman 27 News, and we certainly appreciate the update.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you.